Okay, next in Embroidery Club, we're going to discuss cut work. Cut work is actually where you have taken threads and you simply do a satin stitch or a blanket stitch. This is genuine cut work that was done by my mother probably around the 1930s, 1940s, and it was absolutely beautifully done. And she has padded it. So what you do is you draw your outline and you do running stitches by hand. Then you do a blanket. Then what you do is you cut out the area you want to reveal, and then you do a blanket stitch around it. And then she added these padded stitches. And this is my mother's work, so here's the back of it, because my mother always liked the back. Now hers was wonderful, but my grandmother on my father's side, her cut work is to perfection. She was a lady of means, and therefore this is hers. And if you get a chance to look at it up close, here you can see every stitch is perfect. It looks like it was done by machine, but it was not. Here's the back of it. Every stitch is to perfection. Absolutely beautiful. This would take really years to do. To make this beautiful cut work would literally take you years to do. Of course, they didn't have TV, so therefore they did this by the hour. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Now here's one that I did by machine. This is actually a Jenny Haskins pattern, and this was done by embroidery machine, and you can see it is lovely too. And it probably from the front looks just as beautiful as my grandmother's. Now the back does not look as beautiful, because from my grandmother's you almost can't tell the front from the back. Everything is so perfect. So what we're going to do is this, I've digitized this little pattern for you. And so you will see you've got some cut work, and then you have some, what these are called Richelieu lines. So as you do your running stitch, you would cut it out. You would do a running stitch, cut out your reverse applique, running stitches across, and then do a blanket stitch from one side to the other in order to achieve those like panels inside. So what we're going to do this, and of course I put a regular applique with it. So what I've done is I have hooped a layer of dissolve away mesh stabilizer and just a piece of linen. Okay, I've loaded the hoop into my machine, and I'm going to stitch this in green so that you can see what I'm doing. Normally cut work is usually a tone on tone. You wouldn't be able to see white against white through the camera. So the first thing it does is it's going to stitch an outline. Then what I'm going to use is my very sharp little scissors. I'm going to take my hoop out of the machine, but I am not going to remove my fabric from the hoop. And I am going to cut on the inside, so I'm just going to make a little snip with the edge of my scissors. And these are very, very sharp scissors with a very tapered point up here. Okay, I'm taking it out and I'm taking a little slit just so I can get, and then I'm going to put my finger underneath here so I can feel to make sure that I don't cut all the way through that stabilizer. Although it is not a big deal if you cut through the stabilizer, because you can always take your adhesive spray and then patch it up. Now one other alternative, if I didn't have the Richelieu lines, was to use that fiber etch in order to eat away this linen. But I'm not using it because of this design happens to have Richelieu lines. Now I've also digitized this a little bit bigger. Or actually it's got a series of 4, so you can actually make a doily out of it. I'm going to cut out all 3. Okay, I've cut out all 3 lines, and now it's going to form the stitching for the cut work. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to tack it. It's going to run the, see those Richelieu lines? So now it's forming one. So you can see it. So if you ever want to digitize for cut work, this is what you need to do. It's almost like digitizing for freestanding lace. Okay, and then there was an additional cut work. Notice this one doesn't have any Richelieu lines because it's kind of small. So I just cut that one out. And here we go again. Now I have to admit, it may look okay, but I can say that even by machine I cannot match my grandmother's perfection. It's beautiful, but it's not the same. See how it adds a lot of padding stitches in there? Also, I think you get better results if you, with your cut work, is if you do not pick a fabric that is very loosely woven, because as you see, it tends to separate a lot. Well, the next thing is the pink for the flower. And I'm going to switch to pink thread. And then next is just a simple applique. Nothing complicated about it. I'll just cover that and then I'll cut it out as typical applique. Okay. The center of this flower is going to be an eyelet. However, it is so small, I'm not even going to bother to cut it out. I'm just going to simply stitch it and then use my eyelet cutter that came with my machine in order to cut out the eyelet. Okay, it's all done. And then I would just simply rinse away. Pull this away. I would just simply rinse away the stabilizer and it would be finished. There's some little spots that I missed, so I'm just going to take a Vibra etch and just dig that away. Okay, we'll see you next month. Bye.